Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Educational Gamer and we are playing Strategic Command World at War as the Allies against the Axis, of course. It is April 1940. The Germans just blitzed through the Low Countries, so through the Netherlands and Belgium in sort of a Schlieffenplan maneuver, so in sort of an attack, just a mass-on attack through that area. And they were extremely successful. We are trying to repulse them with our French-British forces. I'm not too optimistic. So far the fighting between these two have been fairly limited, so it was really the phony war in a sense. But as you can see, they are much better equipped than we are. They have a much higher morale, 120% against ours, 60%. Their readiness is higher, just purely everything about them is better. So yeah, that's not going to be pretty. I do hope that we are not losing too much from the Royal Navy, from the British forces over here. I'm not too optimistic that we actually be able to hold that line at all. But let's see how we do. So let's end the turn and see what the Axis do. There might be some decisions. Yeah, national morale is lowered for the British, but it's immediately increased as Winston Churchill becomes Prime Minister. I think that's historically a little bit later after the fall of France. So, the German occupation of Denmark presents us with a problem, as if the Germans are given the opportunity to use Iceland as a naval base, then our convoys could become extremely vulnerable to attack. It is therefore strongly recommended that we send an expedition to Iceland to prevent this use by the enemy. The mission, codenamed Operation Fork, will cost 25 production points. It will not consist of any significant troop numbers, as only a small number of Royal Marines are available. So, while this expedition could not prevent a properly organized enemy invasion, it will be insufficient strength to secure the Iceland. Yes, that is definitely something that we do want to do, because it is extremely important to get the Iceland in order to both close off the North Sea to the Germans and keep the North Atlantic open for us. The Soviet Union is also sort of gearing up for the war. Given that the war with Axis powers is virtually inevitable, we should be providing winter clothing and equipment for just 50 points. What would that actually do? So let's see the notes over here. Did learn the lessons of the Winter War? Yes. It is strongly recommended to say yes. During the first winter of the coming conflict? Yes, let's do that. It's not that expensive. Here we go. We are occupying Iceland. That should be alright. British forces mobilized in Egypt? Okay, that's interesting. That's an event. Yeah, it is. And we are getting some free troops. Lovely. I like to see that. Italian shipping prepares for war in the Indian Ocean, so we should put... Ooh, and Italy joins the Axis. Iceland prepares for war. Ooh, Italy declares war on the Allies already? Okay, so the Suez Canal is limiting... Ooh, and we do have a significant boost in long-range aircraft. That's nice to see, but it's extremely discerning to see Italy entering the war. I don't think we are well positioned to fight the Italians at all in the south. So I'm expecting a proper collapse over there. But let's see how that exactly turns out to be. So here's the Axis turn. 4 minutes into the video already, but there were some important decisions to be made. Germans are reinforcing mainly their units over here. That's interesting, so that will mean that they can't be pushing this turn. Interesting. Japanese also repositioning themselves, reinforcing some of their best battle losses, replacing them actually, potentially reinforcing these guys as well. The war in Asia has been going extremely well for us. Interceptors, escorts. Yeah. Lots of bombardments on us. Lots of bombardments. Just look at all their bombers. That's an extreme amount. At least the Italians don't seem to be doing that well. They do have this army over here that will be able to advance against Marseille. And of course all their navy is now going to be in play. Again, the Japanese carriers come into play as we approach the coast. These guys are becoming more effective. Ooh, this corpse is really in danger. Yeah, I think we're going to lose that actually. Yes. We did. That's a hefty loss for us. And that's an interesting retreat. And we lost I think an entire army. And there we go, Italian tanks. Yeah, Italy is suffering some losses over there. Parity attack. Not much happening. Some attacks down here. Yeah, this is a little bit more threatening actually. I'll say. Yeah, that was a successful attack for the Japanese down here in southern China. Germany pushing up a little bit. Would be interesting if they left that force open. Of course they're not, they're bringing in tanks. Yeah, so an entire French army destroyed just like that, mainly by bombers. So I think it was a good decision to buy an anti-air unit, although I'm not entirely sure it is positioned quite as well as it can be. Although the longer the Germans are taking over here, the more likely we are to build up that fort over there, and that is important for us. Germany amended its Norwegian convoy routes to supply its ore. Iceland joins the Allies. And yeah, Italy down here is a problem. But it is our turn, and that means we can react to some of these things. Although, to be honest, I think our line over here... Yeah, the 8th Army is destroyed. And what was the other one? Oh, probably Chinese. I'm not sure what that means. So we do have more fighters, and we do see heavy tanks for the French. That, of course, is extremely good for us. But yeah... Overall, I'm not sure we can do any attacks over here. It seems that we'd be suffering pretty massive losses. So... Yeah, I think actually... Oh, wait, what was that? Over here, we could attack this corpse and suffer a little bit less than they would. It would decrease our ability to do anything over here. But I'm not too sure whether it would actually remove our entrenchment. We are seeing some tanks over here now. Yeah, but all in all, we are simply not able to attack at all. So first of all, let me do you. You are auto assisting. That's good. I would like you to move down here. And then we can ask you to not include this one. So let's detach that. Let's attach the one in Lyon. So we are putting a little bit more resistance towards the French. And let's include also not this one, not the fighters, not any of that, certainly not the reserve over there. What I do want is this one, this army, so I want to maximize the effect that we are having, and I don't want to pick the corps because I don't really seem to be doing that much for us. I guess we can pick this corps though, because it's going to move south and going to help out against Italy. And then the last thing that we're going to probably pick is indeed actually the fighters again, so that they are properly supported. And I should reinforce you, but I can't because I moved you. Anyway, these guys should be reinforced so that the south isn't collapsing entirely. You could attack, but that's no use to us right now. Let's bring these guys up over here to bolster our defenses. We didn't lose anything else except for the fighters, so let's reinforce these guys as much as possible. And that should be more or less it. For the French at least. How's the French income? It's actually pretty decent. So, and we can place the heavy tanks. Heavy tanks. Heavy tanks are very good at countering tanks, so I would sort of like to position them up over here. Let's think about the Brits for a second here. Okay, let's bring these guys up over here. Let's reinforce this army. Let's place the tanks up over there. Okay, so we need to move you anyway next turn. Can't reinforce you, can't upgrade you, can't do anything about you. That's fine though. We could reinforce these bombers. But again, it doesn't seem like we are able to do too much damage against the enemy over here, so what I might actually want to do then is bring you guys down here and be ready to attack the Italians. I think that might be a little bit better. Right, the Air Force over here. Guessing we should bring you over here to increase the defenses. Yeah, even the British bombers don't seem to be doing too much against the Germans. So yeah, that's potentially not something that we want to do. Okay, and now that the event has means that if we are to disrupt the German supply routes, that apparently has to happen down here from Oslo. That's of course much more difficult because we are much closer towards the enemy. Let's make sure that our fleet is doing fine. Why can we not reinforce? Oh, I think it must be connected actually to the UK. Okay, that's fine then. Let's try to find destroyer submarines. Nothing so far. We do have the battleships over here, and they could be coming in to assist. But for now, that's probably fine. Let's reinforce our battleship. It's going to be expensive, but still, I think a good move. And then the battle cruiser, we can sail down here. Next turn, you'll be able to defend. Any German submarines? Anywhere? Nope, doesn't seem like it. Let's bring the the Canadian troops. Nova Scotia over here, so you can reinforce next turn. Again, some generic patrols on our supply lines over here. Nothing so far. And again, I think there must be a German radar somewhere, although I'm really not sure where. And since it hasn't been haunting us for a while, I think we might as well come back towards our bases. Area, let's try to form up a little fleet over here in Gibraltar, so that we can deal with the Italians sooner rather than later. Everything else up here seems to be fine. Oh, the heavy cruiser. Yeah, some patrols. Likewise, the light cruiser. Setting up over there. And these destroyers. Yeah, at least we did manage to sink one submarine fleet, so that was helpful. And these destroyers probably need to be upgraded. This battleship is fine, and I think in a good position to cover any enemy advances. I don't think we want to move anyone from up over there. So all of that should be fine. So that does mean that we can start to advance against the Italians over here. Should probably reinforce you. Can I reinforce you? I could. Try to gather some more supplies though. The garrison unit, I guess you can come up over here. You need to be reinforced, my friend. And you need to probably be reinforced as well. Yeah, that should be fine. You are good. And what do we have here now? So we have the desert fighters. We do have a desert field artillery, desert anti-tank, and reconnaissance. Okay, that's very nice to see. So very nice fleet being put down over here. That does leave the question about the Italians. So I think this battleship has been upgraded. Yes, it has. This light cruiser certainly hasn't. I do want to do some reconnaissance over here. I'm not seeing too much of the enemy. What's your mode? Auto. Sorry, your mode is fighter, just air patrol. I do think I want to have you mixed. Let's alley out these destroyers just a little bit and come back so we are seeing what's happening over there. And then the submarines. Oh, I can't upgrade you over here? Well, that's fine. Let's try to spot down here. See what the Italians are up to. I think over here we are having a sandstorm. That's why we can't move any of these guys. Well, we could actually. So yeah, let's make sure to bring up the army over there. Bring up these guys. And I guess the garrison can be moved to Alexandria. The scouts, I think we'll send down here towards that bases. And that should be fine. Could potentially reinforce you. Well, some tactical bombers, that's nice. I guess we can... You are upgraded? Yeah, we are spending a lot down here, but all in all I think it's a good decision to start exerting some pressure on Africa. These tactical bombers... Reinforce them. That would cost all of our points. Let's make sure that all of our sea forces or naval forces are where we want them to be in terms of strength and or upgrades. Well, the tactical bombers over here. You could attack some things, but again, it's not like you have a massive amount of power to do anything. Although you are tactical bombers, so I think now you should actually start to do some damage. It might be nice to reduce the readiness of these German tanks at least a little bit, but we'd be losing so much. So no, I don't think that's something that we need to do right now. Which just be general attritional warfare, and yeah, I don't really think that's worthwhile. Good. So move you up further. What's our supply situation? Let's keep on looking at that. It's actually all right. So yeah, let's move up the army. Let's move up the bombers. You can't be moving up any further. That's all right then. Yeah, all of these are fine. You've been reinforced. Yeah, so we could really do the tactical bombers. What's our research situation? Do we have anything that's advanced fighters, naval weaponry, and anti-aircraft defenses? Well, I think in terms of... So let's try to upgrade the carrier. We can't. Could upgrade the heavy cruiser. I don't think that's something that we want to do. We could upgrade this carrier. Better weaponry, naval weaponry. It doesn't count against submarines, but it does count against everything else, and including a better defense values. Oh no, just on naval. Yeah, and it's fairly cheap, so let's make sure our carriers are top notch. I think that's fine. Good. No. Yeah. I don't know, let's upgrade these bombers a little bit. Oh, I can't because I moved them. Yeah, that's fine then. Okay, no need to do that then. Everyone else over here, fine. You are slowly advancing into there, so yeah, I think everyone there will be fine. That does leave us with the situation of the smaller countries up here, actually. You do have some forces, but I do think that we want to make sure that you are guarding against a potential attack by the Japanese. Let's at least make sure that our fleets are positioned somewhat to that effect. The heavy cruiser could be upgraded with better naval weaponry. It might just be the best unit that we have down here, so it might actually be something that we do need to look at. Destroyers can move up over here. By the way, the coal mining strike seems to have reduced a little bit. Singapore, can we upgrade the corps? anti-aircraft defenses. They're fairly cheap, but I don't think they're required. Mobility is certainly nothing that we need over here. Could reinforce these guys though. Yeah, I think that's useful. Ideally, we should have a headquarter down here. Yeah, other than that, I think the UK moves are done for this turn. Very little money left. France could do more, but even purchasing a unit for France would not really be there in time. Maybe a garrison unit. Even an anti-air unit would take 3 months, so I'm not convinced that that would be helpful. And there's no, let's just save the money and see that we can't do that. Oh, and we should of course place these fighters as the UK, obviously. Let's place them over here. Can't upgrade or reinforce you this turn. Nope. That's still alright. Good. So that does bring us to the Asian theater. So down here in China, Southern Front, I think everything probably is still a little bit locked down. Yeah, that army is pushing on us. We are, on the other hand, pushing against this force. Somewhat unsuccessfully. Why can I not reinforce you? Oh, your supply is too low. Why is that? I thought the supply must be flowing from over here very nicely, actually. But it doesn't. Yeah, you're also very low on supply. But we are at least threatening that position. Your supply is okay. Wait, are you? You're guarding that garrison. I don't want to get that garrison. I want to take these guys. So do we want to reinforce these guys or just YOLO? I think we need to reinforce that division over there. And then... oh, I did attack, yeah. Would reduce the entrenchment. Let's do that. Even though we are losing some money. Okay, that's of course not what we wanted. These guys have received a pretty severe beating, but I do guess we can reinforce you on this spot so that you are a little bit blocking the way for everyone else. You're starting to show signs of low supply, and everyone else here is actually very fine. We could attack into you. I mean, you're very experienced and all, but... and over here? There is a headquarter over here, but we can't reach that. Any attack across these rivers would be sort of pointless. You have everything turned out as it should be. Look at that. Their supply is 0, so we can really hamper them. Yeah, let's conduct that attack. Get these special forces to be much lower. I would ideally like to reinforce you, but... do we want to do that with the engineers? Let's do that with the engineers. We're going to receive some counterfire. But then what we can do is probably withdraw you, pull in that corpse attack. Yeah, I think that looks fine. Bring you in, attack another time. Did not manage to kill them though, so yeah, that was unfortunately pointless. I had hoped that I could reinforce these guys. But yeah, definitely I want to kill them if I do have the chance to do that. We might want to bring you up over here and then sort of push into there a little bit more strongly. I think that might be alright. This attack, is there a point doing this? You might soon earn some experience, but no. It's an unfavorable attack, let's not do that. These fighters, let's reinforce you so that you can intercept some of these pesky carrier attacks. That should be alright. Up over here in the north, we can attack, but it doesn't seem to be much point in doing that. We could bring up that army over here. Is there enough supply? if we advance into there, it should be. No point attacking down here, but that might be a nice way to threaten to cut them off at the very least. Even just look at that. Just look at how little power they have. Supply situation over here is okay against them. But you know what? Let's attack this guy. And that should be alright. And then let's do bring you up over here. Defend over there, and you could attack, but you'd lose pretty heftily. You need to be reinforced. Why would you attack so blatantly? Because you're very entrenched. I think you're upgraded a little bit. How does it look for the Chinese actually? Infantry weapons are coming along, that's nice to see. And over here for the Brits, the long-range aircraft are as well coming along, so that as well is very nice to see. Yeah, I mean, we are exerting some pressure over here, so I think that's good. Pointless trade, isn't it? And you are pretty entrenched. Let's do it anyway. It would reduce the entrenchment by quite a bit, and then we might be able to threaten them a little bit more aggressively. But at some point we need to reinforce, so I think that would run out of momentum very quickly. Could move you here and take into this field. We'd be exposed to a lot of counterattacks though, so I'd rather not do that. Now I think steady is as we should go for nationalist China over here. And we should actually purchase another unit with China. I think that's a corps, since we did lose one over here, so that is much less expensive than it would otherwise be. So yeah, let's do that. Let's replace our losses, and that should neatly come to, I think, all in all a good place. You could move somewhere else and potentially build up some... Can you move? You can, so you can move in here and build up some fortifications. But at this point I'm not convinced that we need that. So should we hold off from that for now? I mean, they might still come back to against us, right? Then again, their supply is so low, so I don't think that's our highest priority with China. So no, I think I'm good with China. That does leave us with India and what they should be doing. I think again, potentially production technology might be alright. Yeah, you will probably be building a little bit up, so yeah, let's do that. That does spend nearly all of your points, and I think that should be alright. Other than that, there's America. America, can you research more? Yeah, you can. And we might actually want to do more. Infantry weapons, of course, a good choice, but we might want to wait on that until we get the better understanding of the enemy. Production technology, again, always very useful. Logistics, likewise, especially for the US. It only costs 100, so we might want to do... What we might want to do is spend on advanced tanks and logistics. I think that's fine. So we are making more progress into logistics and into advanced tanks, and that should be alright. And all of the other things are also very good. UK is somewhat close to industrial technology, which is nice. The US also, yeah, a little bit. I would have really liked to get infantry weapons as France, but you have so little income that I don't think it does make sense to aim for that. So, that being said, I think it's time to put in a card and see whether the Germans will be able to push through in May over here. So, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.